Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your homeboy Eric Short, sitting in his man room on a Sunday, as usual. This is a very different type of show and a very special guest with an S on the end. And for the most part, I'm going to let my homeboy Les Miller, you know, uh, throw out the introductions and everything. But first and foremost, I want to say, what's up, Les? How you doing?
Good, E. I'm good. I'm very happy today, man, to see my Hartwick brothers,
There you go.
So
There
and
you
and,
go.
and, and we're Hartwick warriors,
Okay.
not no damn Hartwick dogs. Okay, so
All right.
I just
Well,
want to
let's
make
run
that
with
clear.
that, Les. We'll run with it, bro. Go ahead, man. Run with it.
But in the room today we have my boy, my roommate Jerry Fulmer, and my point guard God Larry Carpenter. So you guys can take a minute and introduce yourselves.
I'll go first. Larry Carpenter out of Kingston, New York. Came to school, got the blue, ran across a bunch of brothers from New York metropolitan area and a Syracuse cat, and was one of the best bunch of ball players I have been associated with, and the rest turned out to be history. A pretty good Division II history at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, brothers? It's great to
All
be
right.
on this particular show and having us together. Jerry J. Fulmer. I'm right now. I'm in Durham, North Carolina, but out of Syracuse, New York, upstate New York. Hartwick College, 1976 to 1980, and it was great to meet these bunch of guys. I tell you, we can get into it further, but getting up there with these guys showed me and demonstrated a lot, especially the only one from really upstate New York, with the brothers from Kingston, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, all over the place. Seeing them, it was a joy seeing us one time, which we'll get into, and how many of these players that we had on this team, and first of all, the differences in our attitudes, the difference in our swag, the difference in our play. It was, to me, one of the best assembled team, the best assembled team I've ever been in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because I did a little bit of research myself on you guys, and I had noticed that you guys had like winning seasons, like back to back to back, like 20
All the
game
time.
winning seasons, and a lot of people, discount a lot of Division II accomplishments by teams. But if you're a baller, you know better than to do something like that, and but it has to be commended, but it also has to be recognized that that a team of that caliber was there right in the thick of things, doing their thing, and having a lot of success. And I
Mm.
just out of curiosity, what was the main, thing, I guess, from you guys' standpoint that made you guys as good as you were, being that you all came from different, cultures and backgrounds? Somebody want to answer that?
Well, I could tell you, yeah, I could do that. I think it's that, you mentioned something, Eric, about Division II, and I don't think any people understand how difficult and tough that still is, because remember, a number of those players I know on our team could have gone to Division I real easily. And I think coming to Hartwick and at Division II, you had that type of attitude that we felt that we were Division I players. And here it is, we get and we start playing and meeting each other and then start playing with each other. It definitely showed, at that time. I still don't think, I know the coaches don't know what they really had. Okay, we could talk
Right.
about that. I
Right.
can definitely say that. But in some ways, I don't think we knew really what we really had. We had, because we got so close to each other. But did we really know what we really had? I don't know.
Mm.
I really don't know that. I think about that all the time. With High C leaving, we're going to get on
Yeah.
that a little later. With
Right.
Greg Hall being that top player, one of the top players in the country, if not
Right.
the top in Division II, and then Rob, Gary Robinson, who's not on this call, they both came from St. Anthony's.
Yep.
Then you've
St.
got High
Anthony.
C, you've got Carp, you've got Les. There's other players that were on there. We call him Killer, Hurling something
Yeah.
from Jersey
Something.
City. and then you take on the fact that who they played against, like a big less than you, who you guys played with, who you played against, and then he comes up to Hartwick to bring his, this. We had a bomb squad, and I think at times it's taken for granted, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's the
Carp,
impression. That's the impression that I got as well, based on looking at the record.
And thinking about this, E. Me and Carp's senior year was the first time that we didn't win 20 games and didn't go to the regionals, and everybody was dogging us out, man. What's wrong with Les Miller? What, he got senioritis? I got hurt, man. I was taking horse pills. I'm dragging my foot, man. When we lost the year before, Carp is playing against New York Tech, and you know how good New York Tech was, dragging his foot that was broken, trying to get us a win. And we only lost by 2 points, man. So the sacrifices that we made were incredible looking back, and I'm going to tell you something. That was probably one of my biggest motivations to graduate on time, because I realized that basketball was using me, and I need to use basketball, and I got out on time, man. Because my coach, and I love that motherfucker. He was like, Les, I'm trying to support you, man, but they talking shit downtown, and I'm like, yo, coach, man, I'm hurt. I'm wearing the air cast every day. So Carp, you remember the last 3 weeks when I was healthy, I was getting 30 a game. And they were like, why weren't you doing that before? I said, because I was hurt.
Yeah. There's fair weather fans, man. And at every level, level, everywhere you go, that kind of, response can happen, especially when it comes to injury, that nobody, and I'm talking about non-athletic people who never been in the bench, never been in a locker room or a training room, they do not respect an injury and in evaluating a person's performance. They don't care. Right. They don't put any kind of thought process behind saying, well, I saw the guy in the cast, must be something, No, that they still have an expectation, still get 30, and it happened to me at JUCO. Go up for a rebound, we're up by 20. I land on a guy's ankle from a rebound, hurt bad. It was like, and we were on a road trip, 3-game road trip. It was like, either you play or you go back to Brooklyn. And the newspaper, I have all the articles. All the articles is like, Eric Short's going to play. Eric Short's going to play. But they don't care because they'll find somebody else to do it, So it's changed. But you know what it does? It molds you and gives you, some direction or fire to say, hey, you know what? I got to get, like you said, Les, I got to get out of this more than what they're taking from me, And that's that. There's no loyalty, man, when it comes to fans, man. Not college fans. They don't care, man.
And especially when you're on your way out, because me and Carp was seniors, so it's like, if y'all not gonna get us into the playoffs this year, see ya. But we did have some loyal fans, man. My man, Mr. Sloan, that was my dude. Lester, he always called me Lester. It was always they used to laugh. We were like, he got Lester, get up on them boards. And I'm with him on Facebook sometimes, man. I just love that guy, man. His whole family was, just good people, man. But there was some people in the background who were questioning what we were gonna do, because our senior year, Carp, if you remember this, they had put us up like, possible All-Americans, Les Miller and Larry Carpenter.
Yeah.
So the hype was big. Jerry is the only All-American we played with officially, because I don't even think Dana Garris was an All-American. You know what I mean? But Fulmy was actually an All-American.
Yeah.
And I know me and Carp should have been, but it just didn't happen.
Right.
So that was one of those things that, as an adult now, I let Jerry's thing. I'm like, that's something special, man. Being able to say you're an All-American, that's something special.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But you know what? That comes from the guys that I played with. Believe me, because it was tough. Our practices were some of the most competitive, sometimes vicious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you look at, that's why I say I got better. I always felt confident. I was just a quiet confidence that I always had in myself. But it was good because of where I came from, with the guys. But then when I got to Hartwick and I saw it was there, guy like Karp and Doug. First of all, I hated him and I would go at each. He knew I hated it when he either won or did something less than all. I tried to go at you.
Yeah.
But you go in these practices, it made you so much better. And then when you got a Big Mac and even High C and really when I got up there, it was me as freshman. It was me, High C, and for that use that should know that's Ricky Cook, Don McColl's Big Mac, and Hurling Killer Sumter out of Jersey City.
Right, the four you got.
And man, this is our freshman year, a year before Carp and Les. Man, those battles were something. But then when they got there, it was it just was. I loved it because we used to laugh. We'd be so competitive. It just made me so much better. But I think those guys saw. In fact, I think that they saw something in me that I may not have seen that brought it out of me. Especially in the practices. And then I played that. I played that second or third play to guard, and I think it was Carp that brought that out of me. Really, and then of course Les and Big Mac. The way they played allowed me to. When I was in high, and I played the 3 or 4, something like that. There I couldn't do that with these guys, High C and all of them. And there's no way I was going to play that, but I learned from them. It made me stronger, made me mentally strong, and it got better. So when those times I came back, I was ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But yo, Carp, man, I have a question for you though, man. When I look at your accomplishments at Hartwick, man, it's like if you would have had more time on the court your freshman year, your numbers would have been off the fucking chart, man. You know what I mean? Yo, he's still the all-time assist leader.
My numbers would have been better.
Man, bro, because you was doing that thing, man. And because the game has changed.
There's High C.
Look at this. Look at this motherfucker.
Yo, High C, unmute yourself, bro.
Yeah, I know what the hell I'm doing.
Yo, man. Yo.
Still the same guy, man.
Give me a Jello pudding pop, Bill Cosby.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on? What's going on, High? Hey, High.
Hey, High C.
Hey, High.
Hey, Chili.
Man, the crew's all there, man.
I apologize, man. I just got back from 13 miles, man. And I was a little late, so
all right, man.
I'll just wait and participate when necessary.
Okay, man. So, yo, what's up with that widow shirt you have on, Weebs?
Oh, shit, Carl.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
But
yeah,
again,
but once again, man, we got a new guest in, and it's my man High C. What's going on, High? How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm good. How you, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. We're just going over a little bit of Hartwick experiences, and everybody's talking about how tough practices were during that time frame. And you want to chime in on that?
Oh, absolutely, man. Practices were more difficult than the games, and I know everybody on here understands that. I know it happened at LIU. I know it happened, it was definitely more difficult, more challenging, more competitive than the games were, man. So but you learned a lot. You learned a lot. I mean, we used to try to punk Jerry, but it didn't work. It just made him better. It made him stronger. It made him more determined to not be punked, and it made him a better ball player.
Right.
Les came as a freshman coming out of that straight out of Brooklyn stuff. And I'm like, I ain't having that shit. Can we curse?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Flo, get the flowing.
Just talk, baby.
So,
Just talk.
Les came up with that straight out of Brooklyn shit, and I was like, nah, man, we ain't having that. So he and I got into it, but it made us closer. It made us better,
That's true.
and it all practice, man. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say like the best way to create team chemistry and camaraderie is to have your battle. The best way. Can't
Right.
be sitting down talking in lectures. Get them on the court and let them break each other's necks, man. They come out because you come out a better person,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said about that, man. And but I think also Larry was getting ready to explain himself and how he felt. What you got, Larry?
Well, I got exposed to these largest players I've ever played with. 6'6", across the line, and I'm 6 foot nothing, 5'11", and just giving the ball up. I'm a point by nature, so
Right.
it was a joy to toss it to somebody, do something with it, and I didn't have to do it all myself. In case I'm playing on the playground, I could do anything I wanted to do to folks. And then when you come
Right.
and you run into some cats and you see how I see jumping out of the gym, Jerry Fulmer shoots like nothing I've ever seen before at any level.
Yeah.
And then we got this young little yummy from Brooklyn who wanted to be he was so determined to take that center spot and be on the floor. And the practices were like beastly. It was something going on every day. Cats was ready to go throw blows, and it was all about getting in the paint and letting people know you was there. So it was a joy to be part of, and we never looked back. And we lost some cats, but the piece I wanted to mention about what was said earlier is that our senior year was garbage compared to the standard that we had set before that.
Absolutely.
When you win 20 games 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, the expectation is through the roof.
Right.
And we won 16 games, and based on what we were used to, that was piss poor. So
right.
Yeah.
We had set a great standard, and we reminisce about what it could have been had we didn't lose some folks, because we were competing with some of the best Division IIs in the country. Division IIIs couldn't touch us, and we wanted to let folks know. And we beat some people. We beat some Hall of Fame coaches and some really good teams, whether it's Cheney State, New York Techs, Philadelphia Textiles.
Yeah,
we were top notch.
That's right. Yeah.
We
were 18.
We had to bring some things up too. Like High C said, we said those practices were something else. I'm gonna tell you right now, and especially when we came as our freshmen against the team, and then they put the 4th freshman in. I think it was Mandigo Carrington.
Yeah.
Was the 5th one, and man, it was brutal. They were upset with us and how we came in and played. But I'll tell you, the one thing that Syracuse University, being from Syracuse, even the guys from Syracuse used to talk about us. That's when Roosevelt, Bowie, and Lewis Orr were there, because they were good friends, me being out of there. They used to say, who are those players coming out of that? If we were playing Lemoore, and they would come up to the game. It was, man, where are they from? Where did they come from, man? How are they playing at Hartwick? I mean, those were the things that these guys used to say, even coming there, man. So it says a lot about the type of the talent we had and the players we had at that team.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned about the Syracuse thing, because Coach Lambros and Jim Boeheim were good friends, but they wouldn't even want to scrimmage us.
Yeah.
Because or a lot of time a D1 team will have a D2 team. They didn't want that fire. You know what I mean? They're like, nah, we got too much to lose.
Yeah.
These guys.
But as competitors, the players ain't saying that. It's the coaches that sitting back saying, "Oh, what if we lose?" What the public will say. And so you're just standoffish instead of saying there's talent there. Let's play against them, because there's talent there. It's a formidable opponent. Let's play them. Don't turn anybody down. But that goes to show you, man, that Syracuse was a little afraid there.
Yo, E, I'm gonna tell you something though. We played a few Division III schools, and most of them were the best ones. And I'll never forget, we went to play Potsdam State. Right? We go up to their house, and we rocked their world. And they were like 9-0, and like number 2 in the country. we're leaving to go back to Oneonta, and the coaches got them doing suicides.
Coach Jerry Wells.
And what's my man?
Coach Jerry Wells.
Yo, what's my man's name that plays center, man? That he got drafted by the Bucks.
Yeah,
what was his name?
Who was it, Carl?
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Yeah. And now I'm playing against this guy at center. I'm jump ball at center, and then when he's on the Bucks, he's a point guard, like the way you were. You were center in high school, and then I'm looking at you, and you're bringing the ball up at LIU. That's crazy, man. Rolando Blackman, I jumped center against him in high school, and he's an all whatever as a point guard. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, that happened. Believe it or not, and that's why I said to you, man, before, there's so many great athletes at let's just say the high school level going into college, but you're playing at a position because every level, there's the standards of every level stymie people. If you're real little and you could jump, I mean, they limit you. But then when you go to the next level, that's why everybody says prepare yourself for the next level. You should be handling the ball or shooting jumpers or whatever. But if you listen to them back in our day, if you listen to the coach, you're going to be who you are for your whole career. But you got to climb out of that bullshit, And
you're absolutely 100% correct. I'm a prime example of that. At 6'4" and being able to jump, everybody all of a sudden I'm a forward. And prior to coming to Hartwick, my whole thing was handling the ball. Now, when I left Hartwick and went to Adelphi, I was playing in the backcourt.
Right, there you go.
And where I was supposed to be. But most of my career, because of my leaping ability, it was all of a sudden, he's got to play up here. And like you say, the coaches, this is what they needed. Not necessarily what was going to be good for my career moving forward, but this is what they needed.
Right.
So you're absolutely 100%.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, because they're not concerned about your well-being of what you want out of it in that sense of climbing your career. I should be playing at this position. And it's funny because during every single one of your careers, I know you've heard people, say, "Oh, you're not going to be a center in college." You hear that all the time, but still, you got to do what the coach says, and but being and making that transition, man, to handling the ball is kind of tough, though, because you say you're not used to it. Now you got to adjust to that. You got to adjust to the.
It really wasn't, not for me anyway, because I always did that, and especially when I would go home in the summers, we would be playing in different leagues, and I'm playing in the back. I'm playing the two. And so it wasn't that it was hard for me in my specific case. It was just that the coaches wouldn't allow it.
Right. Yeah. But for
you're
me,
right.
and I understand that. Yeah, but for me, and I was pushed into it because everyone knew. And then I'm like you said, I'm playing in the summer with less than them. I'm playing the 3, so I'm kind of like I'm going there slowly. But the reason why I say it's tough is because I got to run up against the Jerry Filmers and the Larry Carpenters, them little guys, and they're what makes it hard because I'm not used to that kind of pressure. That kind of guard pressure, man, it can destroy you and limit what you do. But once you get comfortable, you're good,
Yeah.
But that's why I said at Hartwick, it was good because, like Heisey said, he played the several positions. But when you get to Hartwick, except for the point guard position, you played so many, you can play so many ways.
Right.
Bringing the ball down court on a fast break, guarding the other guy. So that's probably what made our team so interchangeable because of those abilities that we had, that we could play so many different, some different positions where we played different positions in high school.
Right. And it causes those mismatches that's how you can start taking advantage of it. You know, because if I see gets a guy who's 6'3", he's in trouble down low.
Yes, sir.
You know, he's in trouble. You know, unless it's me,
Yeah.
but he'd be in trouble. You know,
Anybody but you, E.
I'd have to foul
let
you,
me
man. I'd have
just
to foul you.
let me just speak to what Jerry said in terms of being interchangeable. For
Mhm.
us, the way we played, if they would throw me the ball on the wing, the guard stuff takes over. So I had the ability that if Jerry's open, that I could get Jerry the ball. If Les is open on the left side, running the left side, I could give him the ball, or I could
Mhm.
stop and take a jumper or whatever it was that I needed to do. So it was like the abilities, even though you didn't play the one or the two like Carp did, but when you were playing, those things kind of automatically take over when you're on the floor because
Yeah.
you know, you know, when you get up in the air and you get ready to you get ready to dunk. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing. It just happens.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, a lot of times
We
I
got
did
surprise
know, you
guest.
know. But let me ask you a question. Was the ability to be interchangeable like that the coach's decision?
Nope.
So, or were y'all doing that just on instinct?
I think it was instinct.
Yes,
Most
sir.
of it was
I agree.
instinct. Mhm.
Game of the flow of the game kind of dictates
Yeah.
what happens out there. If you get somebody in space, you catch high C on the fly. And you know, on the post, you know, and that's where he was most of the time. Then you know, if he catches the ball in space, he does what he does. But we were all pigeonholed into what role we were going to play: point, the two guard, the three, small, big forward, and center.
Right.
And
And that's
anything
a
that happened
requirement
outside of
though.
those roles,
Yeah.
What's
But
up,
but I got a
Coach?
surprise for y'all.
look at
Here's
that.
a surprise for y'all.
Don't you
There's
guys
your
keep bad mouthing
surprise,
me.
man.
Get out of
Look
here.
at that.
Hey, what
What's
are you
going
Greek
on, Coach?
What's up,
What's up,
boys?
bro?
This is a surprise. This was my surprise, fellas.
Wow. What's
Hey,
up,
kid,
Coach?
Very nice.
Wait a minute. I want you to see somebody. Come here, Maria.
Okay,
Here.
who's that?
Do you remember Maria?
How
Oh,
you doing?
The baby.
I remember when you
Hi.
were born.
She was
remember when
like,
you were-
what the hell?
I was born in '79, so
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. I'm glad she doesn't see you
Wow.
guys then. I'd be afraid of Carp. Carp.
That your coach knows you real well.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
I know him real
Oh, my
well, these
God.
boys.
Yeah, I just
How
want
you
to just
doing,
for a
Coach?
moment, and welcome, Coach Lambros. This is the coach who coached these gentlemen during their college careers at
lucky.
Hartwick. And I wanted to surprise you guys. So I used my skip tracing skills to get a hold of him. And I wonder, are you guys surprised or what?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. This is a pleasant surprise.
It's
Right,
a welcome
street.
surprise.
Yeah.
A welcome
My
surprise.
boy, Paul. What's up?
What's going on, Coach?
Oh my God.
Yo, Eric, I was his first official recruit because me and Larry came in together, but the other coach had recruited Larry, so I was his first official recruit.
Okay.
That's right.
That's
You know how
Yeah.
I got him? I was laying on my living room floor talking to Donald McAllister.
Yep, rest in
And
peace.
Donald
Yep.
McAllister says, hey, I got a good player. And he told me all about Les. I said, well, let's get a hold of him. And that's how it all evolved.
So hold on a
Yeah.
second. So you mean to tell me that Donald McAllister mentioned Les Miller before he mentioned me, and we were all three of us were homies?
Oh, man.
I'm
Hey,
offended
how you
now.
doing, man?
I'm offended.
I think he was the LIU lock.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Right.
Eric, let me tell you something. Seriously. I was the luckiest guy because my mother could have coached those guys. I'm serious. I mean, I came in there and what a bunch of talent we had. And I was nervous as a kid just trying to, the diversity issues and all that shit.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I was new to all that. I was just a little white boy upstate New York. And I got to handle these guys. It was awesome, really.
Right.
But we figured it out.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's the conversation that we were having before you logged in, was basically about the abilities that each players had, and took advantage of those opportunities to become successful and to be 20 game winners for, multiple years in a row. It's kind of like a testimony of everybody's effort, because nobody does it by themselves. And
That's right.
I'm just happy to be able to get you all together. And so I'm gonna kind of shut my mouth and let this alumni reunion, let it take full effect. There you go, gentlemen.
I'll tell you what, I mean, as their coach at that time, I was a rookie, and I was, I went to the Final Four, after the season. Guys thought I was a hell of a coach. I won 23 games or something like that, and I'm like, this is easy. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. And we had some wonderful, we played a schedule. We were never in a league. So we were an independent team. So we had to find games. And we played the Assumptions, the Bryants, Buffalo States. We played Potsdam at the time was a powerhouse.
New York Tech. Yeah.
Albany State was always a powerhouse. Union College, they'd fall down every time you looked at them and taking the charge.
Right.
But,
that's true.
There's my man, Cart. How you doing, Cart?
Hey, Coach.
Oh my God, I love you guys.
Hey, Coach, we were talking about the practices we had.
Oh yeah.
That were just as your take on it as coach, especially your front, the last year of Chipman's year and then the 3 years. How did you feel and what do you think of those practices?
Those practices, I used to get you guys going. I said, don't take any crap from those guys. And you guys, the second team would give the first team all they wanted. Remember that? And Chipman would finally blow the whistle and say, don't listen to him, because we would be playing hard. That was very competitive. I think it helped everybody.
Yeah.
Coach,
oh
you started it, Coach. Because our freshman year, when it was Jerry, myself, Killer, Don, who am I missing? That was the four of us, right?
Keith Carrington. Keith Carrington was the only one on
the four of us as freshmen.
Dingo's on that.
And then, but Coach did that. Coach put Dingo on our team.
Yes, he did.
And we scrimmaged the upperclassmen, and we whooped their ass. And Coach was talking shit. Coach, you started it, Coach.
That's right. I couldn't do anything that wasn't competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people would call you a troublemaker, Coach.
Yeah, he was. He's a troublemaker. But Coach, man, how many times did you throw me off the team?
Hey, Eric. I'm serious. It was difficult for me at that time. We're in a white environment up here, and I never, I'm Greek, and we were never, treated as equals too, but not like the black guys. But I love the guys. I try to be fair, and sometimes I would say things and wasn't the right thing. And I think I remember, Jerry, you said something to me. You called me. I don't know if you called me a racist. I told you I was going to put your head through the window.
He did. I didn't say that.
Because no less. I love Jerry Fulmer, and I always have. But to insinuate at that time that I was racist is like not close.
Right.
I'll tell you a situation that happened. You guys will get a kick out of this. One time we played a game, and I made substitutes within the game, and we ended up with all black guys on the court. All right. I just saw our team on the court. We're trying to win, trying to do the best we can. And after the game, we won the game. One of my really, really good friends showed his colors. And he came up to me. We were downtown at a bar celebrating. He said, you had 5 black guys on the court. And my first feeling towards, I love the guy, went to grade school and everything with him. And he wasn't a bad dude, but he, inside him, he saw, I never knew it. I just saw that was our, you know what I mean? You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You had 5 black guys on the floor because you had that many on the team.
I mean, really, Larry, I mean, when he said, you had 5 black guys at the same time. I go, what the hell? Then my feeling for him changed a little. I love the guy. Seriously. He wasn't demeaning type person, but those are the type of things that happen. I'll give you another situation you guys didn't know about. When I was playing at Hartwick in 1957, we had a black guy, Doug Johnson. He was from Virginia, and he was out of Westchester. And we played in Quantico, Virginia, fellas. Did I ever tell you this story about playing against Lenny Wilkins?
No.
Yeah, we played Providence. We're in a Quantico, Virginia tournament, and what the hell was the guy that coached at Marquette?
Al McGuire.
Al McGuire had Belmont Abbey at that time. They were in the tournament. And so it was downtown. The Quantico was where the FBI school is, all that stuff.
Right.
So I said to Dougie, I said, let's go downtown. I'm like, we go downtown Quantico. I said, here's a place to eat. Let's go in. This is a true story, guys. And there's a guy cooking hamburgers. In those days, they had the food right in the front window. They're cooking burgers and stuff, And a guy shakes his head, no. And I don't know what the hell he means. He's shaking his head, no. And I go, come on, Doug, let's go in. He goes, don't you see what he's doing? He does. I can't go in. I was like beyond myself. This guy was a freshman with me, and we became the best buddies. And I wanted to, if I had a brick, I'd have thrown it through the window. I never experienced something like that in my life.
Wow.
And that's true story. That's goddamn truth. And that hurt like hell. And I felt so bad for Dougie. He was a great guy. Great guy. He passed away about 4 or 5 years ago.
What a hell of a story, man. I mean, whoever watches this, there you go. And just a testimony of your character, Coach, to be able to look past that, for that at that moment, not to know what
throw a brick through his window. I can see why people would do that stuff.
Yeah,
I was so hurt, and it felt so bad for Dougie. He said, "Don't worry about it. Happens all the time." I said, "Yeah."
Wow. Yeah, happens all the time. And what year was that? What year was that again? 19.
That had been 1957. We went down in two not SUVs, station wagons. We drove it. That's how we went down there.
Then we weren't even born yet.
No, sir.
And I got to guard Lenny Wilkins.
Born in that year, December.
I took care
December
of Lenny Wilkins, baby.
Wow.
Well, that's on. And Al McGuire was coaching at Belmont Abbey.
He was at Belmont Abbey. Yeah, it was fun. It was a great tournament, and you played 3 games, and it was awesome. Yeah, but that was an experience that it's been with me all my life.
Wow.
Well, what was the experience? Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Les.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Coach. So, what do you think our team would have been like if Richard Allen Cook would have still been on that team with us?
If who?
I see.
What did you say, Jerry?
He said Richard Allen Cook, better known as alias High C.
Oh, my man, High C, if he stayed,
Yeah.
oh,
What do you
man.
think our team would have been like with him on that team?
Oh my God, that was sad. I mean, I felt so bad, High C, about all that happening and you leaving and Herlin Sumter being, I think, the cause of it.
Okay.
Was that true, High C?
No, he wasn't the cause of me leaving. We were close and all of that, but no, he wasn't. I think that the cause of me leaving was me being 19, I guess at the time,
Right.
and not understanding or how to deal or navigate this whole upstate New York versus New York type, downstate New York
Exactly.
type thing.
Okay.
And then you, coach, not really understanding how to deal with us.
Right.
Especially me, because I was a little different. Admittedly,
Yeah.
I was a little
Yeah.
different. And so I think it was a combination of those things. Chipman was different than you in that.
Okay, somebody wants to say hello in here.
Hey,
Oh,
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm good.
Great
Miss you
seeing
guys.
you taking
Everybody
care of that
look
man?
good.
Mwah.
She's still pretty hot.
Yes, she
Oh,
is.
yeah.
put your
You
hands out
married
there.
up. You definitely married up, coach.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
I wouldn't be agreeing with the coach. I keep my mouth closed talking about his wife, man. So.
Not
Continue, I
less.
see.
He said
I'm
not
sorry.
less.
No, not less.
I don't know, my man Cart, you guys, let's get back to High C.
Yeah.
I think what
Yeah.
it was. It was a combination, coach, of me being 19 and not being able to handle things, and then your inability to, or lack of experience, I should say,
Yeah.
in dealing with players of color. You know, I don't think that you were a racist. I never thought that.
Right.
I just thought
Yep.
that you just did not have the experience that was necessary. Like Chipman was a used car salesman. You know what I'm saying? Chipman
Yeah.
could sell anything to anybody. He was accustomed to being around people. Chipman had an ulterior motive, which we didn't know, was to get the hell out of there. So when he recruited me and some other people, and I fell in his lap for the most part, but I just got to the point where I got frustrated and didn't know how to deal with things. But if one person would have come to me and said, "Stay," I would have. And but
I
you
wish
know,
I would have
that was
known
the immaturity.
that.
Say that again, Carp. What'd you say, Carp?
He said he would have known if he wish he would have known that then.
Yeah, I wish things were different myself, you know. And but it wasn't Killer, Coach. As a matter of fact, I tried to talk Killer into staying versus him leaving, and I obviously couldn't do that. And then things turned out the way that they were. But yeah, I think that had I stayed, it would have been beneficial not only for you guys but for me. I mean, to be able to finish out what we started. And when Carp came, Carp really didn't play while I was there. Carp became Carp after I left. So I can
Right.
only
Right.
imagine being able to, you know, play with
Right.
Les as the point guard, you know, and what that would have done for my game, and then what we could have done for his game, and then so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I see.
So everybody basically would have been feeding on each other and growing together. You know,
Yes.
that the assumed coaches and abilities would have grown, you know, with the team, and the team would have grown
Yes.
as well. And that, in my opinion, from outside looking in, you know, a couple of pieces here and there. There's no. I guess the answer basically is there's no telling how good y'all would have been. There's no telling. Syracuse really wouldn't have wanted to play y'all, you know.
Yeah.
And to speak to that, coach, right before you got on, Leslie and then was saying how Syracuse wouldn't play you guys. Okay, do you know him a little bit about that?
Well, I don't remember that. That maybe Chip tried to schedule them before I took over, but I had heard that. And honest to God, we were with that collection of players right there that we're all talking together. It was amazing. I always said to myself, I wish I had them after I had 3 or 4 years
Me too.
experience. You know, and I'm
Yes.
serious, I see. Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, oh my God. I mean, we used to play Philly Textile. They were awesome games. And John Chaney.
Cheney State. Yeah.
I remember when we beat Cheney State out in Gannon. Remember that, boys?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And Eric, John Chaney called timeout, and we could hear him like he was grabbing his players. You got to stop that 22.
That's 22. That's Jerry Fulmer.
That was the full man.
Jerry Fulmer. He can get 3 pieces.
It's all about the number, guys. It's all about the number. 22, man. It's all about the number, man. Right,
Don't
Jerry?
do it. Don't do
That's
it.
right, E.
Yo,
That's right.
There you go. It's all about the number.
That's it.
That's all right, though. I got my 33 and my 44.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach,
I
always
got
wondered-
something for you guys. It's a good, really, he was a really good friend of mine as well. May he rest in peace, man. I want to hear from each individual person your feelings about Big Don McAllister. Let's start with Larry.
Big Mac could have ran for mayor of Oneonta when I got there.
That's right.
I thought he was.
On the court,
He was.
when Don McAllister was healthy, Don was a force defensively, and he did not make 28 field goals in a row by being no slouch offensively. Don was a team player. He understood. Very, very smart player in a lot of ways, and he played that 31 defense. He was the anchor for that for us, but he was a great teammate. And Don was he was a force to be dealt with. And our team was not our team without him.
Right. Okay.
He was very vital to that, to everything we did offensively and defensively. Ask Jerry Fulmer how many times he was freed up by somebody running the Don.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to Jerry and ask that. Jerry, what is your opinion of Big Don?
Without a doubt, one of the most unselfish persons I've ever met in my life. Just think about it. It's almost hey, Les, you can come on up here and maybe take some of that position or time that Big Mac had. But obviously, and then even when the 4 freshmen came up, me, Killer, High C, and Big Mac, we had that closeness. But I probably at that time was close to Mac because we stayed in the same dorm, stayed right down the hall with each other, and we would talk, especially when I wasn't playing really much my freshman year. He was the one, besides, because I was with Killer and High C a lot, they would tell me about being patient, be ready. But Big Mac was that most patient person, most unselfish person, making sure that I was looked at. Like they said about the picks and screens, he always bring them by me.
That's
Just bring them
right.
by me, Jerry.
That's done.
And that's just not for me. I think that's what everybody, as Carp said, he made that team better. And if somebody was mad, like if I would get mad, he would pull me to the side and talk to me about some things. I was the captain with him, but he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy.
Yeah.
Even to this day, but he was that first person. Also, me and Big Mac did a lot of great things together.
I know you did.
I can say.
All right, what you got, High C? What you got, man?
I think 2 things really quick as far as Don is concerned. Number one, he saved my life. We were in practice one day, and the ball went up, and I grabbed it as it came off the rim, and I tried to dunk it, and I got caught because I was too far away from the basket. Don McAllister happened to be standing under me as I did that, and he ducked. And if he didn't duck, what happened was I fell back, and my back fell on his back.
Oh my
And
God.
otherwise I would have hit the ground. And he caught me, And that was just like the scariest shit that ever happened to me, to tell you the truth.
Right.
And it was just something that when you have a certain type of ability, you sometimes go overboard. And when the ball came off, I just caught it and tried to throw it back when I was too far away.
Right.
That's the first thing. But the other thing that I think that I wish I was more like Don, because if I was more like Don, I would have been at Hartwick all 4 years. Because see, Don McAllister had the ability to assimilate, to deal with people who didn't look like him or us, to be able to accept or be accepted. I didn't have that. I came from Hempstead, which was 99% black. I didn't know how to deal with folks who didn't look like me. So I was pissed off, first of all, because I didn't get to Villanova. I wound up at Hartwick because my coach in high school knew Chipman, and here I am with all these white folks, and I started acting stupid. And I was just doing things that I shouldn't have done, saying things that I shouldn't have said, and all that. And I apologize, Coach. I apologize 40 years later, or whatever the hell it's been. But if I was more like Don McAllister, I would have stayed there, because he was able to do things that I just wasn't capable of doing.
Right. I hear you.
That's very good.
Yeah. So let's go. We're gonna go to you now, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
What about you,
Well,
Coach? With Big Don.
Mac. Let me tell you about Big Mac. You'll get a kick out of this. The first time I had to go pick him up down in Brooklyn. What the heck? Crown Heights. Am I right, Les? Crown Heights.
Yeah.
And it's August, and I'm driving the recruiting car around, and I don't know where the heck I am. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? And listen, I see, that's the way I felt. So
I understand.
All of a sudden, a cop car, this is a true story, I don't know if you all know this, pulled up beside me. He could tell I was like, didn't know what the hell was going on. He says, are you lost? I said, yes, I am. I said, I'm a basketball coach from upstate New York. And I said, I'm supposed to be at this address, which was, of course, Donald's. He said, follow me. And he took me to Donald's apartment. And that's how I first met Donald, and we rode up together.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? So Big Don, we're driving up, and you know how dark it is when you get up through Roscoe and up through there. And he saw the animals, their eyes, what's that? What's that? What's that? He's like, what the hell? But I see what you said about Donald. He was a gentle giant, I would call him. And he did assimilate. He tried, and he got along with everybody, and he was loved. He really was. Everybody would have, they felt comfortable around him and so on. And that's the way he was. And then as a player, everything you guys are talking about, he set screens, he rebounded. And one time, I don't know if you guys remember this, who the hell did it? I think it was Melvin Houston. We played up in Potsdam, and we beat Potsdam. And Melvin, I think it was Melvin, and they stole the in the motel room. They stole the curtains.
I remember that.
That was Fraction. That was Fraction.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't Melvin?
For what? The dorm room? To take it back for the dorm room?
So all I know is you guys remember Tom Green?
I remember it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a great man, and he calls me up. He says, "You guys aren't going to the tournament." I said, "What the hell's going on?" He says, "You guys stole." I said, "They did what?" "They stole the curtains." So I went to Donald. I said, "Donald, we will not go to the tournament unless we get these curtains back." And Donald got the curtains back. He knew what the hell was going on, But on top of that, he was such a he was like the anchor to our team as such. He really was. He had a personality that was outgoing. He could laugh. I love the guy. And one of the things I think he appreciated when he had that heart transplant, Sharon and I drove down to New York and surprised him.
Yeah.
And came into his room, and oh my God, he perked right up. He was so happy. It was nice.
Yeah.
We lost a really good guy there.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right, Big Les, your turn, bro.
Woo.
I know the
You
film.
you wearing them?
This motherfucker, man.
I hear you, Les.
Even when I got mad at him, I couldn't be mad at him for so long. I owe so much to this guy for my life, man. From the Hartwick experience. Because of him, that's how I met my wife. His mother knew somebody that had this all-black temp agency, right, on Wall Street. And my father was tired of me coming in when he's going to work after I was my first season in France. So my father said, my man, you need to get a job. I said, Dad, I got my own money. I'm renting Lincolns. I'm doing okay. A few days later, my father said, my man. I said, Dad, I'm okay. Da da da. The third time he said, my man, I went to the temp agency that his mom had referred me to. The next day, I get this job at Bankers Trust Company, and I walk in, and there's this woman sitting at this one desk. I go into the manager's office, and 2 days later, this girl's coming up for take up a collection. And she said, oh, yeah. I said, the girl that sits over there, she said, oh, you don't know. I said, you mean that one over there? I said, here's my $3 because her grandmother had died. And she went to Jamaica to bury her. And now we're married 38 years next month. So there's so much I owe that dude. You guys, my wife. I mean, and think about the timing of it. If the first time my father had said, my man, and I went to that temp agency, maybe I don't get that job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
it was like the first time in my life I didn't actually listen to my father until the third time. But that was Big Mac, man.
Yeah.
That was Big Mac, man.
Yeah.
You know, and if y'all don't mind, I give my little take on them.
Sure.
And you know, emotions run high sometimes when you start thinking of people.
Yeah.
First time I met Matt, it was in the G building. And I don't know if y'all know the G building is Kingsborough Psychiatric Ward, part of Kings County Hospital.
Right.
And my dad had a team and we practiced there at the G building. Crazy place, you know, guys with really almost in straight jacket form coming and watching us play. Maybe 10, 15 guys. And you're like, whoa, you know, I hope none of them got like axes or nothing. But nevertheless, back to the point. We're on the court. There's four guys, there's four people in my dad, me, this big dude with a beard, and this other guy, and this guy Norm Vines, which is like the original Bo Jackson. And we're playing 2-on-2. And this guy's as strong as an ox. You know, we were like 12 years old, and he was like killing me. Couldn't stay with me. He had the skinniest ankles I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen anything like this.
Isn't that the truth?
Years go by. He's a year older than me. Years go by, run into him. He's playing for Franklin Delano Roosevelt High School with Vinnie Johnson. I get 35, but my body feels like I just, you know, got beat up by 20 people because Don beat you up. Fast forward again, we team up together with Les. We take the high school Rucker tournament second time.
Right, that's right.
Brooklyn team, never done it before and since. And you know, like, but the cherishing of time and just to showing that timeline is that there's been a consistent relationship and friendship with a guy that I've never seen in my entire life anybody ever lift up a washing machine and carry it like it was a backpack. It was the most incredible, my refrigerator, most incredible thing I've ever seen. But he was so gentle in how he spoke, how he talked to people. I never saw him get like ridiculously angry, but he commanded that power. Yeah, and as a competitor, teammate, citizen, all of those things, he's like just living at the top of the chain, you know, and I have so much respect for that that it's almost ridiculous because he's a friend and he's a model, a role model for us all to how we conduct ourselves amongst each other. And he's missed. And I can tell from everybody's voice their respect for this man. And I always say to myself, and I guess maybe because when you have you know, your mortality becomes in question, you start wondering how am I going to be remembered? You know, it's like, and if I mean, there's a couple of people I'd say I would like to be remembered like them, but Don's on that list because I want people to remember me as kind and gentle and a good man, and he's one of the guys that, you know, you take pieces from.
Very well said.
You know,
Very well said.
and I miss him, man. I really do. I miss that guy, man.
Yeah.
But
he had a friend. He had a college friend. His name was Jamie Heath. You guys
Jamie.
remember Jamie?
Yeah.
I talked to Jamie.
Oh my gosh! And Jamie and Donald. Jamie was a tennis player at Hartwick, and his wife. What the devil was her name? Cindy.
Cindy.
She was a beautiful girl. She was a local girl, and they loved Donald. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's just the type of relationships he developed with good people. And Sharon, oh my God, Sharon loved him.
Yeah.
She loved all you dudes. I don't know why.
I'm her favorite. I'm sorry, I'm her favorite.
But you know, let me tell you something. It goes without saying, without a doubt, Big Mac. Like I said, him and I used to be together. But the person who kind of brought us back, because some things happen that's kind of less said, and sometimes I sit back and say, here it is, he's gone. But at that time, that we didn't know each other's kids as well as we should have because of the closeness we have. But it was really high C that, especially the last few years, I would say, would you say last 2 to 3 years of his life that brought us back?
Absolutely.
With him, no doubt.
Which was good. We had the chance to get to talk to him and everything. So he's definitely missed and will always be missed.
That's right.
The crazy thing about that, Jerry, is that, as I mentioned earlier, Don used to always come to me and ask me, what's wrong with you? You know, why are you, you know, what's the problem? Again, had I been more like him, but it was crazy because fast forward after we were done with Hartwick, for some reason I was the one that stayed in contact with him. More so, even during those rough times, those challenging times. I don't know why, but it was me. And then what I would do is I would make certain that these guys were indirectly connected to Don until such time. And I said to each and every one of y'all, when y'all are ready, y'all will know. I'm not trying to force anything, but I do know that there's something there, both that you can't stand and something that you love. And I knew that after a while, before too long, the love would win out. And that's what ultimately happened. And we all did get back together.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. That's true. Yeah, man. No doubt about it, man. But yo, hi. It's funny that you was just saying that because me and you, we got off on a different kind of foot when we was at Hartwick.
Yep.
And it wasn't until you left that we became so close.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I was following you. Then when we played down on Long Island, you come to the games. You know, we started hanging out. You know, but it was like I was like, there's something about this dude, man. You know, and I said he's from Hempstead, but I think he got some Brooklyn in him. You know, because it's like looking in the mirror. I'm like, damn, yeah, okay, I understand.
Very similar.
Bro.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it happened that way because it happened that way in spite of me. You know what I'm saying? In spite of the dumbness. I don't know if I'm making up a word or not, but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah, but
Carp, is that a word, Carp? You know. but this is what I'm saying, man. And I'm glad that it turned out the way that it did because I met E through you, Les.
Right.
And I spent time. I've been to E's house. I was there before and after his challenges that he had and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate that. And that's just how things grow, you know. And it's just that for me, unfortunately, my growth took place I had a late growth spurt as it relates to me as a person, and that was
Right.
my issue. You know,
Yeah.
otherwise things could have turned out a lot different, and I wish
Yeah.
that they did because the 2 years that I spent at Adelphi University, I was doing shit there that I'm like, I didn't realize I'm that nice. I mean,
Yeah.
I was at, I got 18 the first year I played, and I was like 19 a game the next time, and I'm saying this could have been there. Now it
Right.
may not have been all those points because I didn't have a Jerry Fomer, I didn't have a Les Miller, I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? So I had to do what I had to do, and I damn sure didn't have an Eric Short because I wouldn't have averaged nothing the way he was putting it up.
Nice try. I wasn't putting it up like that because I had those
Yeah,
same
you was.
challenges, and that's
You
what
was putting it
happens
up, bro.
when you get around people, you change automatically. So you don't, as an athlete, sometimes they say don't fight it, like with the friendship and you say like it could have been better. No, it was what it was. It took the course that it was supposed to take because that's the landscape that it was supposed to take. And the relationship was gonna merge at this juncture. What's gonna happen 20 miles down the road? It was gonna happen 30 miles the other way. And it just be patient. And that's a retrospective, evaluation of that because you think about that after the fact. But as it's happening, you don't know when it's going to happen. You're not even expecting anything to happen. And, but you're right, though. When you're playing with guys that their skill level is so high, you possibly might not be able to get those points, but you're still who you are. And that happened to me because my point production diminished because I had 4 guys that were trying to get 20 as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the bonding, man, it's incredible how it happens. And, we're talking like what, almost, in some cases, like 55 years later. And it's like, if I gave you all a ball, you could run the plays, coach would be yelling at you all. And, I'm serious. I mean, at least that's how it sounds to me right now,
Absolutely.
But I see you'd be like under the rim though, but that's okay.
Well, right now, I listen. I look at the rim now, and I said, "Damn, that's a long way up."
Oh
you.
my God! You went up there easy. You went up there easy.
But like you said, just imagine if all of us were like that, and obviously some of the play would have been different, but the talent showed. I mean, what I like to know is how did especially with all of us there, how did a Coach Chaney or the coach from Philadelphia Tech?
Well, I lost you there for a second, Jerry. I didn't hear the end of what you said.
But I guess he was trying to find out how the Coach Chaney and the other coaches viewed you guys from the coaching standpoint.
Well, that's a good question. They knew that they respected us big time. They knew all how good we were. I was trying to be a good coach and so on and get them to play, but like I said, I think with a couple more years experience at that level and jumping in with talent that we had in you guys, it was tough. And I was second guessing myself and asking other guys and trying to get help. But to answer your question again, Eric, they were deeply respected. Hartwick's Dana Garris was in there before that. They remember Dana.
Right. Magic.
Yep.
Magic. Who the hell gave him that
Magic
name?
Magic.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of us did.
Huh?
One of us did. I don't know who gave him.
Well, the year before we were out there in Gannon, he went off on Gannon. He scored like 27 points. Did you play in that game, Ricky, when he went?
I did.
Huh?
I did. Yes.
I mean, it was like crazy how good he was. Yeah. And, but no, we were highly, Herb McGee was a great coach at Textile.
Right. Textile, right.
Oh, yeah. He knew when he came to Hartwick it was going to be a battle. We beat them pretty good, and that was, I just said, holy Christ, we did it,
Yeah.
And then when Les and I got in a big argument the day before we were going to a great tournament at Assumption. They were a great
Yeah.
school up in New England, Assumption
Massachusetts.
College. David
Mm-hmm.
Hankins and some of these
Yep.
guys. And I told Les, go down the other end of the gym, we'll fight. I said, you might kill me, but we're gonna, I'm gonna hurt you. I mean, really, Ricky, we got into it. And then the next day we go to Assumption and he's the MVP of the tournament.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that, Larry?
I remember.
I remember it. I remember it.
Huh?
That was his coming out party.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah.
Les became that man that he became.
Yeah.
The
People-
Hey,
interior-
Coach, how good was Stretch Martin?
Oh my gosh. I mean, he was like 6'7". He could shoot like hell and run he was a wonderful player. I mean, I was Les, just picture you come from I'm a high school coach and Chip gets me up there as assistant. I got there's all those guys in Stretch. Holy crap. And he was a tremendous player.
Yeah.
You got to give a lot of credit to Coach Chipman because he's the guy that started all that. And people still talk about you guys and the teams that we had then in those years because basketball, we won, I think, 49 or 50 straight games before King's College beat us.
Yeah, who we got in here? Who's John, Les?
What's
That's
that?
Bocce. That's Botch. Better late than never.
That's Bocce love.
Coach, you remember my brother, Botch, right?
Oh yeah, man. I just couldn't see the picture, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Watch, what's up?
I'm good.
Yo.
How you, bro?
Yo,
Hey, man, it's been 60 years, man.
Oh
You're
my
only,
God.
an
good,
hour
bro.
and 50 minutes late, man.
What'd you say? I look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you doing later, man? I
Hey,
appreciate it,
Coach.
man. It's good to see you, man. We're having a real nice conversation here with these Hartwick hardwood ballers here, man.
Warriors, not the Hawks. Warriors.
Yeah,
Warriors, right,
Warriors.
That's
That's
right.
Hey, but Coach, Botch used to come up to Oleana, and then we would throw the DJ out of the Fleetwood, and he would DJ. He would DJ
Oh,
for us
really?
down there. Yeah.
I don't want to know all those stories. I'm finding out more stuff than I ever knew happened. Thank God.
I know.
Holy crap.
In other
Yeah,
words,
yeah.
guys was breaking curfew like it was all right, huh?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, that place was rocking.
Hey, but yo, Eric, think about this though. We would play down in on Long Island, right? My sister and them would come to the game and give me a case of Old English. And on the way back, we're drinking Old English and eating pizza. And everybody's sleeping but me and the coach. Because the Old English, the real Old English was crazy, man. Yo,
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm not a beer drinker, so I can't speak to that, man.
Could you imagine that now, telling somebody's parent, oh yeah, we had pizza and beer after a game? No.
I have no comment,
Plausible
man.
deniability.
I know, right? That's right.
Hey,
Exactly.
Eric, can I tell you a story? I heard a podcast that was done with Stan Van Gundy. He coached you know the Van Gundys, of course.
Yeah.
Jeff and Stan. And he was on a podcast, and I forget who the gentleman was. It was said that you can bring it up if you look at it. You go Stan Van Gundy podcast. I think you can get it. But here's what happened: the guy that was hosting it says, "Hey Stan, was there anybody that really, when you played for your dad? He was at Brockport. He played at Brockport. His dad coached at Brockport State." He goes, "Yeah, we went on a road trip to this place called Hartwick College in the middle of nowhere." He says,
"What?"
Yeah, he goes, "Yeah, we went on this road trip and there was a guy named Dana Garris. He had like 45 against me." And Magic did him in, and that was so neat that he remembered that.
Yeah.
That's a true story.
Well, I mean, just out of curiosity for the viewers, how good or how great has the Hartwick history been historically? Like where have they been historically, competitive wise?
You mean now?
Well, they're division
Over the
3
years,
now.
I mean,
That's
historically, how has back in that time frame, how good was Hartwick over the years? Even prior
right. I
to
mean, in the 70s when Roy Chipman, I think he took over in like, oh dear, 68 or I think 68 or 69, and we were hardly. I mean, we were always, a small school in upstate New York, very competitive school, and we were. Well, I don't know how to answer that. We were a power in upstate New York. Let's put it that way.
right. So there was a tradition that
There
you guys
definitely
were
was.
maintaining then. Okay.
Yes.
Well, Eric, let me answer that. There's an article that was in the sports thing that came out. Percentage wise, I think around that time, coach, like you're saying, we were in the top 10.
Yes.
If
That's
I'm
right.
correct, for winning percentage
I
when you
remember
had
that.
UCLA and some of the other teams, even
All
Syracuse in there.
schools. All schools.
Of all those schools,
All the
percentage wise,
schools, yes.
we're in
I
the top
had
10.
that. I
We're
sent
in
that
the
to a
top
lot
10.
of you guys.
Yeah. And I guess that would also apply for other sports as well, because I know in those years, Hartwick soccer team was Division One,
You got it.
and it
They were
was
national
between
champions.
LIU, right? LIU and Hartwick were going back and forth as like one was number one week, then the next week was Hartwick, and then it was like you guys were swapping back and forth. So I just wanted to know what kind of tradition the university has.
Hartwick went to 78, 77 or
77.
70.
My
They
freshman
won the
year.
national soccer championship.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. My freshman year.
Because
Yeah.
Billy Gazonis was on the
Y'all
front
had
cover.
this good guy. You guys had this guy. He was from, I don't know if it was Africa.
Richard Chinapoo.
No, you're talking about LIU?
Yeah.
Chinapoo.
Oh, it's Richard Chinapoo, man. That's my wife's friend. My wife, she's from Trinidad.
He's
and
a bad
that's
boy.
she knows him. Yeah.
He was a bad dude.
Richard was my next door neighbor, man, in the dorm. That's all I'm gonna say.
Get out of here. Yo, Chinapoo, man. Yo, he was doing the Pele type stuff, man.
Yo, he's who's who, man, and he's who's who in Trinidad. He's like royalty.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he had
What was his name?
man. Richard Chinapoo.
Chinapoo.
Yeah, he was like part Chinese and African American.
Yeah. So yo, we have another addition. My brother John Botch Greenlee. So Botch, introduce yourself, man. Tell us how you know us to be on this podcast.
Like Les said, John Botch Greenlee, born in Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklyn guy. I became part of Les's family in 1979. My mom and Les's sister worked together and were best friends. And I was a little brother that Les never had. And Les took me on
right.
this
That's
wing.
nice.
Les took me on this wing, and a couple times, I like Les was saying earlier, I don't know if Coach remembers, but a couple times I used to visit Hartwick. I would be the ball boy. I would go on the road with them, and I think they had 2 blue vans back then.
You got it, baby.
That's right.
And they would go to some games, but Coach had a lot to do, a lot of planning to do, than to worry about some kid that was on the bus throwing balls and packing the dirty clothes after the game.
Is that right? Oh my God!
You had a full schedule. To worry about what I was doing and remembering me was probably not even part of it.
So he put you to work, huh?
Yeah, he put me to work.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that. Holy cow!
Yeah, you got that. That's called compliance amnesia.
So and I used to come up there. Depending on who had company that evening, that's the room I had to go to. Sometimes Les would kick me out. I'd have to go stay with Melvin and his frat brothers.
I don't need to hear all this.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
But
it's
yeah.
it's one heck of an experience, man. Being, with that camaraderie and with teammates and fellow classmates as well. Student body and what was the student body environment like at Hartwick? Was it like
No, we would pack the gym. I mean, it was amazing. I found the article that that was it. Jerry Fulmer, you were saying about the top cage teams.
Yeah.
Right.
And with the records at that time, and it says here, when it comes to who played the best basketball over the last 8 years, Hartwick College ranks up there with the big boys. Under the guidance of Roy Chipman and Nick Lambros, the Warriors have won an amazing 77% of their games to rank them 8th nationally for all college teams. And the number 1 team was Hamilton. The 2 team was Cheney State. The 3 team was North Carolina. The 4th team was UCLA. And DePaul, Louisville, Kentucky, and Hartwick.
Wow. That's some good company right there.
Yeah, that's the article Jerry's talking about.
Yeah, there was a lot of winning going on.
That's right.
Lots of winning going on.
That's the
And
one I'm
after
going
that,
to
it
put on
goes,
my
number
wall.
9 was Potsdam, 10 was Syracuse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the article you're talking about, Jerry.
That's it.
I got
That's
a
what I'm
copy
gonna
of that.
blow up and put on my wall. Yes, sir.
And you want to know something?
Coach was
When I
intense,
said,
right?
say again?
Oh yes.
I said, Coach was intense. He knew how to right the ship. And the first thing I remember about him when the first game I came to, right? This man would be fully dressed, suit and tie and everything. And by tip-off, he'd have his jacket and his tie hanging on the back of his chair.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
Right.
His tie either off or hanging on the side.
Everything.
He's a coach and undresser then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been a competitive guy. I mean, that's just my nature. And having those great players, I just wanted them to do the best they could. And I tried my best to make it happen. And, you have losses in your, when I had my team to the Final Four in 1988, I'm still upset that we didn't beat Scranton in the semifinal game. Not that we were going to win the national title, but, your last game is in a tournament like that, your Final Four in the country. And with you guys, we could have been there too if doesn't make a bank jump shot against us. Calvin Hicks makes a bank jump shot from the foul line to beat us. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that hurts. I keep thinking about that.
Man. And it was an and 1. It was an and 1. I was like, Hooter, don't foul him. No. Actually, you told them foul him. He didn't foul him until it was too late, and then he got an and 1. We wanted to foul him while the ball was before he shot it, and he fouled him when he was shooting. Yeah, and it was an and 1. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Funny stuff, man. A lot of things, man. But I'm gonna say something. I have no regrets at this point in my life, as far as having you guys in my life. It's
likewise, brother. Likewise, Rumi.
Yeah.
Yo, as much as I love you, man. If I don't went to LIU, man, I'd be a different person. I don't think I'd be the person I am today.
Yes, you would have, man. Don't play that game with me, bro. Don't play that game with me. I'm the wrong guy to tell that to, man. I've known you since. I've known Les. Hold on, Les. In front of all your boys, I've known you since 1959, and I'm telling you, who you are is who you are, man. And that skill set of who you are, and you know what I'm talking about. That wasn't going to change, man. It was just the journey, man. And that's for all of you, all of us, man. Our journey is what it's about. But we put our backpack on. You had your backpack on. You went on your journey. That's who you are. You are always going to be Leslie Miller. You always will be. And it's like, and then for all of y'all, like gold stars hang over all of our heads because the camaraderie that we have, who we turned out to be. There's no question in my mind through 64 and 320 days that who I am is who I am. And that's the same with all of y'all.
Yeah.
There's skill sets that you guys have. Nobody was going to mess with that, Les. It wasn't
But
going
yo,
to happen.
but I'm in the Hall of Fame at Hartwick College, man. I wouldn't be at LIU. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I
So I'm
understand
proud
that.
of that.
But hold on a second. You was in the Hall
I
of
don't
Fame in
know.
1962 with me. So I don't care about that, man. You're my boy, man. No,
feel
for
you,
real.
man.
That's the truth, man. I mean, you know how I feel, man. I understand the accolades that we all have, man, but that don't mean nothing, unless you measure who the person is and who the men are that I'm looking at today. That's more important than the Hall of Fame to me, man. And it was developed. All of y'all had a part in it, man, in the development of that. The friendship that I'm developing with you guys, that's going to carry on and take it maybe another direction or further, and you have to look at it like that, man.
The nicest thing that I think I can say is after having coached at Hartwick and coached you guys, that it's a great feeling in my heart as I get older and I look at each one of you guys, that if I were in need of something, that I would not feel, hesitant to give you a call and say, can you help me out? I'm not talking monetarily. I'm talking about anything.
Right.
And I know that you guys cared about my kids now she's 44, but my kids, when they were young, they'd come in the gym and you guys were part of their lives. And they, it's pretty interesting when I talk to my daughters. I remember him, it's pretty neat. It's a very good feeling. And I have
Eric,
that, and I had it with Donald McAllister too, and my man Foam and Carp. Wonderful people.
Yeah. What you say, Jerry?
Like you said, it's the personal things. It's, they say signs of a true friendship and relationships are not when the things are good. It's those challenges are when they're bad, not bad, but you're having the challenges in life. And I think
and that's why I'm going to say, and that's true, man. That's why.
And that means a whole lot because I know we've had challenges. I think about when I first got to Hartwick, they didn't really know that I had a daughter, until later. So not only I was trying to take care of school academically, but also athletically, but also the personal things in life and things now we can talk about, which are very key and important to me. Is sports is great. It's just, it transcends a lot. But when you start talking about, as Coach said, and it's the personal things that go on. Like Botch mentioned how he met Les, and then we met Botch through Les. He's like my little brother. He's like my little brother.
Yeah.
And Eric, me meeting you. I mean, you're part of this. So that means a whole lot when I look back at it.
Because you guys have no idea the history I have with this guy, from me getting him arrested and him assaulting a police officer with a ham sandwich, and and us fighting in the playground, and us going through a drill, and there's like, you throw the ball at the basket at the end of practice and it's free for all. You score the basket, you're out. You can go home. Last 5 guys got to do 100 push-ups and 8 laps. 99 degrees on a Sunday morning. I punched Les in the solar plexus, got the ball, laid it up, I'm out. 5 minutes later, when everything was done, we're friends, we're boys. But that relationship means more. But the one thing that recently happened after I got sick, and I don't know when it happened, man, but he's also like a master, like magician or something. We hugged or something, couple of months go by, and I picked up my sweater, had pockets on it, and I'm like going through the pockets. My wife was gonna wash it, and I looked, and it was like a wad of money in the pocket. And I'm like, where the hell did this money come from? And this guy just sneaked this money in my pocket, man. No words, nothing. And the level of love that I felt from him doing that broke me down more than I could even ever imagine. But it made me understand the value of friendship. That it's nothing gets in the way of it. And it's built on trust. It's built on being a teammate, and working together. And to reflect on all of that and look at guys who have those relationships are from branches of our relationships. It's just ridiculous. Like what it says, 7 degrees of separation. We're closer than I think it's like almost a one-on-one relationship when it comes to athletes because we're all tied together,
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known you guys without knowing Les. Plain and simple, So I'm sorry to get you choked up, Les, man. I apologize, but it means a lot, man, for all of us to reflect on these things, man. And I'm grateful to be able to, to meet and know you guys.
Hey, Eric, what years were you at LIU?
79 to 82. I went to JUCO in Kentucky first. And I was supposed to go to Murray State, but then I left and came back home.
Because Hartwick at one time, I think, played. Did Hartwick play you guys when you were there?
No. And I was actually supposed to possibly like go directly to the league, but things didn't work out the way I planned it. But I was supposed to skip college and go directly to the NBA, but
Hey, coach, back in the day, right?
Excuse me, Les. Nobody found that to be funny.
I was smiling.
I know it's true, but coach, back in the day in Brooklyn, it was Albert King, and after they said Albert King, they talked about Eric Short. That's how nice this motherfucker was.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
But I have a problem called Marfans that we talked about. So, and this is what it is, just so that you'll see, Coach. This is what it did to me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna send you. I think I might send you his video one time. I'll send it to you after today. Okay, Coach?
Yeah,
It'll
sure.
Explain it. Okay. Yeah.
But these relationships that we all built, college athletics, man, is just ridiculous because there's long-lasting relationships that have gone. We're talking 50 years, guys.
Yeah. That's right. Yep. Yo, man,
which makes me want to say congratulations to you, Eric, for even developing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And I am extremely grateful and pleased to be part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yep. I think that what Les and I sitting down talking about it constantly, we wanted to bring out stories that nobody knows about. From the standpoint of the athlete's mindset, because there are so many athletes year after year after year over the past 40 years who nobody doesn't even think about them. Like we said earlier, when you're a senior and you're on your way out, they tend to start forgetting about you because they're worried about who's the next recruit. So we're bypassed for the next athlete. And after all these years, nobody knows about the Hartwicks, the New York Techs, even the LIUs, even the old UCLA teams with Swin Nader and guys like that. Nobody talks about them anymore. So we said locally, let's bring it to the forefront. Let people see success stories, men that are doing a good job. And after years of having a camaraderie, and the shows have been turning out to be pretty good. I mean, we're getting better at it. I talk too much, but and Les doesn't talk enough, but this is, a labor of our love, and I appreciate you guys being here.
Eric, let me tell you something. Use me as like a barometer. I'm 86 years old now, okay? And my my knowledge of Hartwick College basketball started in 1947 when I was 10.
Wow.
Okay, and I used to go to the games as a kid, and they played downtown in the Armory, and they played LIU, and they played Army. When I played, we played Army, Manhattan, and so on. The thing I'm trying to bring to you guys' attention, there's pictures of guys on the wall, and it's relating to what you're saying, Eric. People don't know, but I know. I'm there. I walk into that building and I see those pictures of you guys and all you guys, and I remember the guys in 1950, in 1951, and they were good players and they're Hall of Famers. And you're saying nobody remembers. Well, stay old enough, you remember.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to, I mean, I walk up to a plaque, Eric. There's a plaque of Harold Bradley. I'm going to mention that name to you. You're going to die when I tell you this. Harold Bradley coached at Hartwick in like 1951 or 2, and his next job was Duke.
Wow.
He went from Hartwick to Duke. Look it up. Harold Bradley. And he took a couple local coaches with him. One was our high school coach. So, you see that every basketball player that comes to Hartwick now, I go to him, I said, read this paragraph. And there's the name. Harold Bradley left Hartwick to take over the reins of Duke. And he was there 10 years. So then he went to Texas for 10 years. Those are things that, get, you talk about a program and how do you keep that going?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And exactly. And you hit it on the nose, because it's kind of like every year in the establishment of people's skill sets and things that they accomplish, every time the page is turned, you get 10 pages past there, you forget about it, but you're looking forward to reading the next page, but you forget about page 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's like, I have to open the book back up and say, look, guys, there was a page 3. There was a page 10. There was a page 40. Look at this. Look what these men did. And even if we went to the other gender and said, look at what these women have done, his history gets thrown in the garbage can by people because your memories are thinking about the next super thing. But what about what the guys did to lay that groundwork? And that's what I guess Leslie and I are trying to do in our small siloed environment, is to touch this area, and to pass it on. And it's not just basketball players. We do, a lot of different people that we find are essential in that sphere, but it has to be brought out. And it's like, and I don't want to just take my knowledge to my grave. Leslie always says to me, let's immortalize the things that occurred, because people don't know. They don't want to go. You can't go into Google and find out the whole starting 5 and videos. That those things don't exist anymore. But we can sit down and talk about it and share experiences and people's viewpoints during those eras and show respect for it as well.
Well, Eric, I think Fulmer, Jerry said the right thing, that sports brings people together. And again, I'll relate to when I took over the head coaching job. I was around the program all those years. And then when I finally became the head coach, I was trying to get support from the former basketball players, and they would say, you're the basketball coach, the little gym rat that used to bother us. I'd be at their games and so on and so forth. But it made a big difference to those guys to be remembered. You get my drift?
Yeah.
They played back in the 50s, but I knew them. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And that was probably good for support from them as well.
Oh, big time.
Going forward. Yeah.
Yes,
because this way you got something to draw on. You're just thrown into the frying pan, with no seasoning, man. You need that seasoning in there, So but listen,
hey,
guys.
Coach, we're getting ready to cut off. Coach, you know who we're gonna interview one day soon is Andrew the Dip Fields and Roger Laysmith.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I've been talking to them. So I told him, I said, even though kind of like a Brooklyn thing we try to do, but those guys, I want to hear their opinions about what we used to do to them.
Hey, Carp, you remember them, right?
Carp.
Roger Lasaf?
Yeah, Roger and the Dip, Andrew Fields.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you a funny
big
thing.
time.
Listen, you
Them
guys are going
6'8"
to die laughing. When Cheney was running Cheney State, he had Lasaf and what the hell's the Andrew
Murphy.
Fields?
He had Murphy, Andrew Fields.
He had Murphy, but he stood those two guys in the post side by side on the left block. And I said to Herb McGee, the coach at Texal, he says, I got a film on him.
George Melton.
Watch. I mean, we had like videotapes and shit like that. So I'm watching it. He says, did you see what Roger Lasat did? I said, he didn't move. He goes, yes, he did. He scratched his leg because all the other guys used to run around him, and get open shots, and their job was to rebound the ball. Yeah, and it was so funny. I said, what'd they do? I'm looking. And Herbie McGee says, well, look he scratched his leg. It was so funny, fellas. And here trying to scout the game and see all the moves they made. They did simple offense. They just ran off him, off them.
Oh, that's
yes,
crazy.
yes.
Yeah,
listen, we got a family picnic here soon. I have to break away.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to shut it down anyway, but just to let everybody know, going forward, if you guys don't mind, to show a little bit of just a shameless plug to show some support for, what my endeavor, the Brooklyn Basketball History page on Facebook. And if you guys can, get yourself some gear. You go on the website and you'll be able to see it. And
E, let me just say one quick thing before you go. Guys, I was right up the street from me, about a mile and a half, being in Durham, there's a lot of sports here. So I went to the sports bar called the Wing Cafe. So I had your hat that you and Les sent me.
Okay.
That had, what's the name? I'm sorry, what's the name of it? What's the name of it?
We don't say it. We don't say it on this program anymore.
Yeah. The documentary.
All right. Yeah. We had the hat on. I had the hat on, right? This was only about a month and a half ago. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, this guy comes over and said, what you doing with that hat? And I told him, I said, I got some boy. He said, man, I know them very well. I'm out of Brooklyn. I forgot it. I got his name written down somewhere, but he remembers and sees this show all the time.
What is he from out there? He's from Durham. He lives in Durham?
He lives in Durham now, but he's from Brooklyn.
It might be Dow Robinson or Anthony Bogan.
I'll send your name. I'll send you his name.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, everybody. I appreciate that. Once again, everyone, it's kind of like the end of our show. I want to thank all of our guests. It's been unbelievable experience. Jerry Fulmer, Coach Lambros, Larry Carpenter, Les High C, Botch, who came in for a few. I definitely appreciate everybody coming in, and I hope that everybody enjoyed themselves and sharing their experiences during that time. Les, you got anything to follow up on that?
Man, I just want to thank all my peeps, man. Love you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Feel the same way, Les, about all you guys.
I love you guys. Thank you for the opportunity, Big E.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, everybody. Once again, this is another B&E show. We'd like to thank everybody for coming in, and we'll definitely see you guys some other time.